Hello everyone, Fanta here. You're watching FANTAVISION, and today we're doing another Tales from Retail. Before we get to the topic, of course, please leave that like. It really does help. And today, drinking Tangerine Express IPA, which is supposedly like a IPA with tangerine and pineapple. I don't know how they actually add that, but I guess they put a whole pineapple in it. So today, we are discussing the 5 most irritating things about retail. The 5 things I hate the most about retail. I can't decide what I'm going to name this episode yet, so I'm saying a couple of them. Today, this topic came from, again, Carolina King 843. Of course, if you have ideas, please leave them in the Discord. Helps out a lot. Or leave them down below and put like video idea : so it's easier to find. What are the top 5 things that really pissed me off about retail? And this is sort of in the right order, kind of. I tried to, and then I got to the last one. I'm like, this is probably the number 1 thing, but I don't know. It seems like it needs to be the last one I mentioned because it's sort of a personal thing. And not everybody might be on the same level I was mentally when I was working in retail. So when I was working at GameStop and Walmart, these, of course, are the top 5 things. So number 1, managers. Now, I've made a whole video about managers. That's how much I hated them. Now, I didn't hate all of my managers, but the reason they're number 1 is because they are directly influencing whether or not you hate your job, whether or not you want to get into a car accident so you don't have to come into work. They are the number 1 reason for pretty much whether or not you're going to have any fun at work. And I know there's those detractor people that hail corporate and say, oh, it's work, it's not supposed to be fun. That doesn't make any sense to me. You can be both a hard worker, but also still having fun at the same time. It is very possible. I've done it many times while working at GameStop. Less so at Walmart, but when you have the right manager, a lot gets done. The customers are happy because they see that you're happy, and it's just overall a better workplace environment for everybody involved. A positive manager can change the entire atmosphere of a store, and because of that, I hated the managers that would give us busy work that it wasn't really anything, and then another manager would come up and go, oh yeah, that busy work you're doing, you shouldn't have done that. And we're like, but the other useless, Captain Useless over here told us to rearrange the TVs like this. And they're like, nah, we don't want it like that. So it's like, what the hell? They would put us on tasks that nobody needed to do. They would basically just yell at us for existing. If you existed in their sight, they would yell at you for something. They'd nitpick any little thing they could pick out. I mean, I get you're not supposed to talk on the job and ignore customers, but if you're talking and there's no customers, what is wrong with that? You don't have to continually helicopter around the different departments and make sure that people aren't talking. We would look for things to do. We don't need you to give us some stupid busy work. Now, number 2 is the customers. Now, the customers are very just barely below managers because the customers can again make or break your day. And the reason they're not number 1 is because the manager is somebody you have to deal with on a daily basis. It is guaranteed if you hate that manager is going to be there again. And you know what? If they're not going to be there that day, they're going to be the next, and they're going to be back. Whereas the customers, it's more of a random bag. You could get the really cool customer that understands what your job is and understands you're a human being and treats you as such. They treat you with respect. They actually care about your opinion when they ask you a question, which I shouldn't have to say, but when a terrible customer comes in, they'll ask you a question and act like every single thing you're saying is a lie. So it's like, why are you coming here to ask me questions if you think everything I'm going to say is a lie? Why don't you just Google it before coming in if that's how you're going to treat me? It doesn't make any sense at all. So it's a mixed bag. But depending on where you work, that really shifts on the frequency of terrible customers. And Walmart, the frequency was very high, like incredibly high. We constantly had rude people coming in, constantly not believing us about certain things, not believing us that things are out of stock, when we show them on the computer and they ask for a manager, they're looking to get you in trouble, they're cussing you out, they're going to make your day miserable. And that's why they're so close to the top of the things I hate for retail, is just because they look down on you, and after a while of just random people looking down on you just for having a job in a retail environment, it just really fucks with your mentality. It really does. It takes all of your self-esteem and flushes it down the toilet. Because so many people come in and they immediately look down on you just because you're wearing that Walmart vest. And it's like Walmart knows that they're devaluing you by making you wear a freaking vest. Who wears a mesh vest besides like crossing guards and police that are directing traffic? Nobody else should be wearing vests. I mean, maybe safety vests at a construction site, but if you're out in public wearing a mesh thing, like, what are you doing? Saying I'm a proud associate? No, I'm definitely not. Number 3 is corporate. Now, corporate is one of the most hated things because of they're the ones that kind of reinforce that horrible manager behavior that you have to deal with every day. They're the ones that are rewarding the hard-ass managers that want you to have a no-fun zone. Corporate will send out emails all the time that encourage things that are just weird or make customers uncomfortable, like when we have to not only greet the customer at the door, but we have to keep handing them pieces of paper as they're walking around in GameStop, or every single time a customer is within like a couple of feet when you're working at Walmart, you have to acknowledge them. Like, I get it, but at the same time, if you're walking around a Walmart and they've got a lot of associates and every single person is saying hi to you, it's a little bit unnerving. It feels like a video game where whenever you get close to like an NPC, they acknowledge you, like in like Oblivion or something. Hello there, hey, how are you doing? Can I help you? And you're just like, just let me please shop, okay? I get that this is a corporate direction, but it's the wrong corporate direction. Another reason why corporate is so annoying is because they feel like they're just not humans. They always seem completely out of touch of what human beings do. They think certain types of marketing are going to work when they just won't. Like I said, that creepy thing where acknowledging people, I get where they're coming from. They want people to be active and try to help guests. But if the customer... I said guests. That's what corporate does to you. They try to brainwash the associates to start using different types of language to make the customers feel more welcome by calling them guests and weird shit like that. They're just a weird overlord that you never really see. There's disembodied text on a page 9 times out of 10, and you just have to follow it blindly or suffer severe consequences. And right now, corporate is telling GameStop to do a bunch of crazy stuff that you're not supposed to be doing. Number 4, again, a lot of these things are very close to each other in the misery department, and that's the schedule. I mean, you can be closing one day and then opening the next. So you're leaving at like 10 plus p.m. and you're coming in at 7 a.m. It's just, why? Why would you do that to people? And also the fact that most people, especially if they're not a full-time worker, they don't get guaranteed days off. And most of the time when you get days off, they're not together. So you never get that relaxation period. You never get to fully decompress. It's like a Sunday every single day you have off because you can't stay up late. You have to worry about work the next day. So you can't really just relax throughout the day. That's why I hate Sundays. It's a day off, but my mind is preoccupied thinking about the next day already. Whereas Saturday is like a beautiful day. The sun is shining bright. I can do whatever I want all day. I can stay up late. I don't have to think about work the next day. I can actually relax. It's my favorite day of the week. Friday is a close second because, yeah, you have to work, but you're looking forward to Saturday. You can stay up late. You can do stuff. It's great. But Sunday just sucks in my book. Every day that you have off becomes that Sunday. And that's why I hated it, because I never had that Saturday feeling. And I'm sure a lot of people work in retail completely understand this sentiment, that you'll never fully relax until you get those 2 days off in a row. Because when you do get 2 days off in a row and you're working retail, it's like a miracle. And you're so happy and you're like, oh my God, I have so much time. I don't even know what to do. This is great. And you just finally get to decompress and relax. Having these weird schedules. Plus, another thing with schedule, you don't even know what your hours are going to be the next week. If you're not full-time, you have no idea how many hours you're going to get. You're like, oh my God, I hope I get enough hours to make enough money to pay all my bills. And a lot of people are going through that. And I know some people are going to be like, well, Fanta, just get a full-time job. A lot of time, people can't just get a full-time job. I mean, my buddy SBS was trying to get a full-time job at Walmart for like the longest time. It took him forever. It took Eric forever to get a full-time job. It took so many people at Walmart so much effort to get a full-time job there. It's the same thing with GameStop. Unless you are an upper key holder, even when I was a key holder, I think I worked like 32 hours or 35. They cut it as close as they could to 40 so they didn't have to give me benefits. That's what they do too. They do every single thing they can do to make sure you don't get benefits. And that's so messed up. There's so many people that need health care that are above 26, can't be on their parents anymore, and have to somehow have health insurance. Oh man, I feel so bad for so many people. I mean, there were so many old people working at Walmart just because they couldn't afford health insurance outside of being full-time at Walmart. Freaking Coop. Poor Coop. Still working at Walmart. Dude's like gone through cancer a bunch of times. He's missing a bunch of teeth. He just wants to retire and live in some like cabin next to a lake. But he can't do it because he can't afford it because of healthcare. And God, poor Coop. Number 5. This one was definitely a near and dear one to me. In fact, this was probably number 1. Number 5 is the existential dread that you're never going to get out of retail. The dread that this is going to be your job forever. Now, the likelihood of that happening to me was fairly remote. I was like, I'm not going to let that happen. But even 8 months of working at Walmart, oh my God, it was definitely one of the lowest points of my life. And well, I mean, you can thank it for this channel existing, but I was absolutely miserable. I would go home. I just felt drained. I didn't want to do anything. I would just kind of die on the couch and play video games or something. I would do anything to escape the voices in my head telling me that this could be my life forever. And being surrounded, especially in Walmart, being surrounded by people that are like late middle ages to like elderly, working there full time. Oh my God, seeing those people with the pins where it's like 20 years of Walmart, that's like supposed to be a badge of honor, but it terrified me. I'm like, I don't ever want any of those fucking pins. If I have that pin, I'm fucked. I've completely lost the game of life and there's no do-overs. And I was just terrified of losing all of these years of my life to just this feeling that I couldn't escape when I was there. And this just misery and all those other 4 things I mentioned and having to deal with that forever. Of course, the schedule thing would probably change after a couple of years. I'm sure I'd be full-time. But the fact that I'd be there, I wouldn't have those 2 days off. I'd have to deal with the random bag of people coming in, not knowing if my day is going to be garbage from people just shitting on me, swearing at me, my manager just yelling at us for no reason, coming up with random rules, splitting up the department into separate pieces and assigning people to each part of that department. And if you left that area, you were threatened to be written up. I mean, just the dumbest shit on the planet. Like, and it was new every month. You don't know what face you're going to see of your managers. You don't know who they're going to be. It just baffles me to think that some people do work there for 20 years. And if you're one of those people that have been working there for decades, man, I feel for you. I feel for you. Try to get out. I mean, if you don't mind it, you're in a good store. That's the thing, though. My store experiences are, of course, my store experiences. There are all those people in the comments that I see that are like, oh, well, my store, Fanta, is not nearly that bad. And, oh, I loved working at Walmart. That's great. If you loved working at Walmart during your time and your managers weren't terrible and your customers weren't terrible, that's awesome. I still feel like you should look to better yourself in some way, to find something that makes you happy. But you know what? At the same time, if that makes you happy and you're making enough money to pay the bills and you're not stressing out all the time and you're able to do what you want and have fun, go for it. I'm not going to shame you for it, because that's what all those customers did. That's what, not all of them, but most customers did. They looked down on you for having a job. I mean, like, there's so many people out there that don't even have a job. And yet, even those people are looking down on you. And I can tell you right now, a lot of people that came to that Walmart, they didn't have a job. They really didn't. And they still treated you like crap. They still treat you like a lesser person. And that's what made that existential dread so painful. Oh my God. It's like, I have a college degree. I mean, even if you don't have a college degree, you could still feel it. You can still feel that dread of being stuck there forever. A lot of people have commented, what would you be doing right now if you worked for Walmart? And I immediately snapped back and said, I would quit. But I've been thinking about, what would I do if I were in this situation? Because when I was working at Walmart, I was barely scraping by. And I don't know that I would have been able to quit. So I would have kept working. And I've been hearing that they're not allowing people to wear masks. I'd be freaking out. I'd be having panic attacks every day. That's what I would be doing. I would just be panicking and continuing to work. And that's the thing that I'm sure a lot of people are dealing with right now. Their mental health is deteriorating, but they can't do anything about it, because especially at my age now, I mean, I'm 26, I wouldn't be able to be on my parents' health insurance. Maybe back then when I was working at Walmart, would I still be working there? Maybe. I could have scraped by for a bit, but who knows how long everything is going to be shut down, so I still don't know. I don't know if I would have been able to afford to. I don't know. Good luck to everybody out there that's still working, and good luck to everybody out there that have lost their jobs, whether you've been in the restaurant industry, retail industry, or otherwise. I hope once this is all over, you can all find jobs once again, because I know how stressful it is to not have a job. When I was unemployed for a little bit, by my own decision, even though I was still going to college, I don't know, I just felt weird not being employed. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Of course, comment down below what the things are that you hate most about retail. Tell me your top 5. I'd love to hear it. Please, of course, give me more ideas for more episodes. Like the video if you guys liked. Subscribe, please, for more content. And as always, have a fantastic day. See you guys. Hope you're all staying safe. I will be putting up a podcast this week. I don't know if I'll have a guest. I'm trying to get a guest. I was hoping to, again, have it early for all my wonderful patrons. Thank you. Seriously, everyone on Patreon that's still supporting. Seriously, that means a lot. Like, YouTube ad revenue for everybody is plummeting into the ground. And seriously, cheers to all of you wonderful supporters. And like I said, stay safe, stay healthy, stay inside. And if you got nothing to do, hit me up. Maybe I can help.